Chapter 25. These also are Proverbs of Solomon, which the men of Hezekiah king of Judah copied out. It is glory of God to conceal a thing, but the glory of kings is to search out a matter. The heaven for height and the earth for depth, the heart of kings is unsearchable. Take away the dross from the silver, and there cometh forth a vessel for the refiner. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. Glorify not yourself in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men. For better is it that it be said unto you, Come up here, than that you shouldest be put lower in the presence of the prince, whom your eyes have seen. Go not forth hastily to strive, lest you know not what to do in the end thereof. When your neighbor hath put you to shame, debate your cause with your neighbor, but reveal not the secret of another, lest he that heareth it revile you, and your infamy turn not away. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in the settings of silver. As an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. As the cold of snow in the time of harvest, so is a faithful messenger to him that sendeth him, for he refreshes the soul of his master. As vapors and wind without rain, so is he that boasteth himself of a false gift. By long forbearing is a ruler persuaded, and a soft tongue breaketh a bone. Hast you found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for you, lest you be filled therewith and vomited. Let your foot be seldom in your neighbor's house, lest he be sated with you and hate you. As a maul and a sword and a sharp arrow, so is a man that beareth false witness against his neighbor. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and foot out of joint. As one that taketh off a garment in cold weather, and as a vinegar upon nitre, so is he that singeth songs to a heavy heart. If your enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink. For you will heap coals of fire upon his head, and the Lord will reward you. The north wind bringeth forth rain, and a backbiting tongue and angry countenance. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than a house in a common with a contentious woman. As cold waters to a faint soul, so is good news from a far country. As a troubled fountain and a corrupted spring, so is a righteous man that gives way before the wicked. It is not good to eat much honey, so for men to search out their own glory is not glory. Like a city broken down and without a wall, so is he whose spirit is without restraint. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. Now today we got some Proverbs of Solomon, just like the rest of them we've been reading. These little sayings in this teaching, like written in a form of a letter. These are the ones that was extracted by the men, or some workers of Hezekiah. Hezekiah is the strength of Yah, the strength of the Lord. He was the king of Judah, and we remember Hezekiah. The Lord prolonged his life a little bit, but Hezekiah showed Babylon all that was in the house, and it was later on that Babylon would come and take everything. Hezekiah was the one who, as long as everything was all right in his generation, it was good to go. He didn't really care about the next one, and that's what I call the Hezekiah effect. We're going to pick it up here in verse 1. These also are Proverbs of Solomon, which Hezekiah, the king of Judah, copied out. And these, just like I said, are some of these Proverbs as well that Hezekiah probably meditated on and were among his favorites. Verse 2. It is glory of God to conceal a thing, but the glory of kings is search out a matter. And it is the glory of the Lord, the greatness, the mightiness. We can see the majesty in it. His greatness, and it's not that he conceals it, it's that we have not looked for it, for the Lord does reveal that which is necessary, of that which we need. And it's all in its season, it's all in its times. But the glory of kings is to search out the matter. and it is would be the glory of kings or their providence to try to get to the bottom of the matter. But as well as everybody, we all have this ability, and it's all our responsibility. It's one man can't do it all. For take away the dross from the silver, and there cometh forth a vessel for the refiner. If we take away the dross from the silver, and the dross is basically like the scum. The silver is that which is being refined. Obviously, that's how the dross gets raised up on it. So it's scooped away, and then it's put in something, and it's brought to the refiner, or this guy that's going to proof it, to see if it's pure. 5. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. Take away the wicked from before the king, and his throne shall be established in righteousness. There have been several thrones that was established in periods of righteousness that didn't remain that way. And we have this documented. It's in the Book of Kings. But this would be the fact, and we'll find this. We will relate this to the Lord. If everybody was doing what they were supposed to be doing, everything would be correct. If we have a righteous leader and we're led correctly, then we should have this effect. Unfortunately, it doesn't work this way, and we'll see a direct reflection of society from those that are in lead. And they're in lead, and a lot of times they don't know where they're going. 6. Glorify not yourself in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men. But glorify not yourself in the presence of the king. Don't go boast in your mouth, boast in yourself in the presence of the king, and stand not in the place of great men. And don't take up your position there. You won't find me there. And, a lot of times you hear me kind of coming against the king a little bit, and that's my object is not to put down the king, but to point out the fact that only the righteous shall be king. The Lord said, I'll make you a nation of princes, a nation of priests, a nation of kings. All of us have the ability and the power of a king, and we was given that when the Lord gave us the law, and he didn't make no difference in the king. King got the law too. It's just a matter of how we apply it. King's basically called out in front of everybody and set in a position, and so are you. 7. For better is it that it be said unto you, come up here, than that you shouldest be lower in the presence of the prince whom your eyes have seen. For it would be better if it was said up unto you, now come up here. If you standing in front of these leaders, and at all times you're standing in front of the Lord, and then that you would be put down lower in the presence of the prince who your eyes have seen. That prince, those rulers, whoever's in charge, there's the assumption there's greatness among men. But if there's greatness among men, it would be the law of the Lord. 8. Go not forth hastily to strive, lest you know not what to do in the end thereof, when your neighbor hath put you to shame. But go not forth hastily to strive. Don't go out in a hurry to go out and cause contention, lest you know what to do in the end thereof, unless you know the end of the matter. See, and in the beginning we were told the end of the matter. That's when your neighbors put you to shame, or somebody comes out and he's got the truth. He's got the truth, and he's going to expose you. I mean, it's basically what it means. You'll be exposed. 9. Debate your cause with your neighbor, but reveal not the secret of another. You can debate your cause with your neighbor, but don't go. It's no sense of bringing other people's names into the matter. 10. Lest he that hears it revile you, and your infamy turn not away. Lest the one that hears it, lest it's made known to those, and your infamy, or that little, what it does is gives you a bad name. It gives you a bad name, and because and it's just not going to go away. You've done something that's just not going to be forgotten. 11. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in the settings of silver, but a word that was fitly spoken, a word that goes out and lands somewhere it can do some good, are just like these apples, and apples is something that's pleasant all the way around. It's apples of gold. Gold's that preciousness that belongs to God. It's like in the settings of silver, even all that which is refined. It's a thing of beauty. We'll look at it as like art. 12. As an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. As an earring of gold, as the people who wear earrings of gold, they wear ornaments of fine gold, and I guess this is to make an example of something. And so it would be like this wise reprover upon an obedient ear, somebody that listens to a little instruction. 13. As the cold of snow in the time of harvest, so is a faithful messenger to him that sendeth him, for he refreshes the soul of his master. As the cold of snow in the time of harvest. And what this is what that would do is bring everything to a quick peak, a quick ripeness, and that's what it would be of this faithful messenger from the one that sent him, if the words would land on something where they could do some good. For he would refresh the soul of his master, that one that sent him. Well, he finally got through, finally did some good, got the message through. 14. As vapors and wind without rain, so is he that boasts himself of a false gift. Just like vapors of wind, ain't gonna last long. The wind carries the vapors away. Without rain, there's nothing in it. So is the one that boasts himself of a false gift. He stands up, he says, I'm the one. He says, I'm the one. And we'll find out in the end, it's all made known. The Lord is the one. 15. By long forbearing is a ruler persuaded, and a soft tongue breaks the bone. By long forbearing is a ruler persuaded. By holding out, great suffering is really what this should be. But a soft tongue breaks the bones. And that's because somebody that says they're sorry, it's easier just to say you're sorry sometimes, even when you don't do something, and take responsibility for that action to appease people. I guess. 16. Have you found honey? Eat so much as is sufficient for you, lest you be filled therewith and vomited. Have you found honey? Honey is something pleasant to the mouth, and the taste has been used to represent that of understanding and knowledge as we mull over and chew on. Now eat so much as is sufficient for you. You should only eat so much as you can take, because if you get too much of it, you'll find that you will vomit it. It will make you sick. 17. Let your foot be seldom in your neighbor's house, lest he be sated with you and hate you. Now, let your foot be seldom in your neighbor's house. That means you don't need to be over there bothering him all the time. See, lest he be sated with you. And what that means, get his belly full of you being around, and he not like you very much anymore. And this was an old saying as well as that. You don't want to wear your welcome out. 18. As a maul and a sword and a sharp arrow, so is a man that bears false witness against his neighbor. Just like a maul. A maul's something that hammers, a sledge, a large sledge we could drive stakes with. A sword, that two-edged, always. And a sharp arrow. That which can be go forth. It's like a dart that can be shot, cast forth. So is this one that bears a false witness against his neighbor. In this case, it would be a lie. And because he has bared false witness against his neighbor. And to bear false witness is simply to tell a lie, my friend. 19. Confidence in an unfaithful man in time of trouble is like a broken tooth and a foot out of joint. Because confidence in an unfaithful man in the time of trouble, when the chips are down, you're counting on him. Well, you should know he was unfaithful and known for transgression in times past. And it's just like a broken tooth. It's going to bother you, like a foot out of joint. And when you need it the most, it's going to give out. 20. As one that taketh off a garment in cold weather, as vinegar upon nitre, so as he sings songs to a heavy heart. And just like one that takes off a garment in the cold weather, you get a little chill, it ain't going to do you no good. Vinegar upon nitre, bitterness upon bitterness, just making the matter worse. So is he that sings songs to a heavy heart, and especially songs of mourning. 21. If your enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat. And really what that means to do is an unpleasant word to a heavy heart. It's just like it ain't no good knows. It ain't nothing we need. 21. If your enemy be hungry, give him bread to eat. If he be thirsty, give him water to drink. If your enemy be hungry, and this is going to be the overall meaning of that. You don't want to be like he is. See, you set yourself apart. He's your enemy. You say you're not like him. Well, then don't be like him. When the Lord brings him to you hungry, give him something to eat. When he's thirsty, give him a little water to drink. 22. For you will heap coals of fire upon his head, and the Lord will reward you. And you will show yourself to be that one before the Lord that you claim to be. 23. The north wind bringeth forth rain, and a backbiting tongue and angry countenance. The north wind bring forth rain. That north wind, that's where that judgment's coming out of. And then storms, we can say, brings forth rain. There's a change coming, and this change is the rain that falls down, or the understanding coming forth from the sky. This backbiting tongue makes an angry countenance. The one who goes around telling stories behind everybody's back causes a lot of frustration in the earth. It is better to dwell in a corner of the housetop than in a house in common with a contentious woman, and we've read this before. In other words, it's better to make you a little booth away up on the house, on the roof in the corner, than it is to try to dwell in the house full of trouble or somebody else's understanding. 25. As cold waters to a faint soul, so it's good news from a far country. Just like cold drink of water to somebody dying of thirst, so is good news from a far country. 26. As a troubled fountain and a corrupted spring, so is a righteous man that gives way before the wicked. And just like a troubled fountain or a corrupted spring, or waters that ain't no good, waters that come forth that you probably shouldn't drink of, so is a righteous man that gives way before the wicked. And he's just like that because he steps to the side or looks at it and doesn't say anything. 27. It's not good to eat much honey. So for men to search out their own glory is not glory. And it's not good to eat a lot of honey. It's not good to overchew it and think it over too much. You might be getting the big head, I call it. So for men to search out their own glory, it's not glory. So to sit and exalt your own understandings in your own mind, it don't make you look any better. 28. Like a city broken down without a wall, so is he whose spirit is without restraint. And just like a city that's broken down without a wall, you got no protection left. So is the one whose spirit is without restraint. He doesn't try to control himself. He gives no thought to what he says. He gives no thought to his understandings. Sometimes we can get boastful, and it's really not a hard thing to do. We don't really mean to do it. we get in a position, and we start feeling like that position, the reason we got it is because that's who we are. A lot of times we got a position and it's not who we are. We're going to move forward. Proverbs 26. Turn and return.